whatever we do in our life, so there is a reason, and I think I heard a sound. Where it comes from? Is that one? Oh, is that inek şaban? No, it's not actually. But we are going to discuss and talk about Hababam sınıfı, which is one of the cult of Turkish cinema. So, whatever do, we have a reason for it, why we do it. Why I will have a conversation, and why I worry about, or why I wonder about what was Hababam sınıfı for Turkish cinema, from literature to theater, and theater to and it was story first. That's for sure for the dolmuş and documents and magazines, and it was like that before, and then by Rıfat Ilgaz, and then it's adapted to theater and then to cinema in after 1975 and by Ertem Eğilmez. And I will talk with assist director and one of the actor of the series of Hababam sınıfı, Hababam class today. And so I'm going to focus on what was the major facts in Turkish education systems actually. And the one thing was about the memorization of the people, like in the example of the ascending period of Ottoman Empire and the answers, and you remind the scenes like Hazreti Ebu Bekir, Şaban, blah 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 blah, and then who about the Neron and this and that. So those are the things come to one's mind when it comes. It's like the auditor, let's say, at that time, the educational auditors in that concept. So, and now so we remember how the roles are changed by Güdük Necmi was coming from he was from Ministry of Education or blah blah blah, and or the supervisor, let's say, that kind of a supervisor. And another fact is kind of nutrition. And there was a kind of suggestion by Kel Mahmut. I really wonder why he was repeating again and again, and don't eat during nighttime and eat daytime and don't eat too much and blah blah blah. That was another fact. And another thing is like so everything was based on monetary perspective in school. That was ridiculous and ironic as well. So I wonder about if the same issue was in the book or not, because I haven't read the book. I watched the movies, but I haven't read the books. And also another case is irresponsible parents, and in the second movie and the series, and if you remember, and the parents were invited to school as Çamlıca Lisesi, which is Adile Sultan Sarayı, and they were gathered, and Mahmut Hoca, and he gathered them and explained why he invited them to school and why they were on the place of student. They were in a 6A literature class, let's say. And then he explained they never take responsibility, and there were even parents who didn't take responsibility for 12 years or something. He never and ever visited the school since he left his children. And he explained such facts, and he gave the report to parents instead of students. And he said, and there was one a crime committed or something wrong was committed by students, but it is not their he didn't blame students, rather to parents because they never and ever get responsibility. And another thing is there was insufficient teachers at that time. And if we think about the conjuncture of the period of Turkey at that time, and he said about what is the current situation of a retired person in that time. Another fact is that there were lazy students, but even the education system was not aware of how to cure the situation, because there were the insufficient teachers and lazy students and irresponsible and ignorant parents. So those were the parameters, and sometimes it was hard to decide what to do with the students. And of course, there were some, it was like an ironic and humorous picture or representation of an education system based on memorization. And so it's like that. And though Mahmut Hoca was kind of a figure, and remind me that poet's society, but even himself sometimes was not deciding properly what to do. But one thing was very good, because he gave love, and they have a mercy, and compassion was there. So it was like that. And another thing is, well, there are some points, like the characters I wonder about, because about the characters, and because the social realities were there, and Turkish cinema was in the midst of between two coup, actually, between the 70s and 80s also. That was the fact. But it has it has a great challenge in those years. But something like there were some facts that for sure needs to be maybe criticized. But if you go on the other direction, then you can understand the situation, and it is like a yin-yang. Because, like, for example, there was a teacher, and he was trying to control the students not to cheat, and then he was on the top of the tables, and he was hanging around, and he couldn't manage to see and hear, and even the students were carrying their cheats with his pants in between, but he was just stepping on the hand of the student. That was an important case, actually, and I think never been questioned before. And in the future, there might be some facts to be reconsidered, I suppose so. But it was just a joke. So actually, Inek Şaban never and ever criticized or never injured at all. So it is like a joke. But if it would be real, that would be a problem. That's for sure. And another fact is, there was a scene that students were smoking in teaching's room, but Mahmut Hoca, with his mercy and his cooperation with the students, he didn't penalize them for this. But in reality, in education system, definitely not a rigid control, but there should be consistency, and you have to be decisive to give a proper pedagogic formation to students. So what is done in the movie is they try to exaggerate the things as much as possible. That is the case. And another thing is the role model. The role model like Kül Yutmaz, he was in the second movie. It was in the second movie, I suppose, and he was in the refectory, and in they were eating there. Also, the time the students cheat Semra Hoja and said that okay, they put some additives on foods. And that makes diarrhea or something like this, so that just to eat other food, kadın budu köfte, something like this, because they always eat lentil and macaroni. That's a fixed menu, and so at that time he was smoking, inhaling, and it was a role model. So that is another issue. Which is an interesting issue that would be questioned as well. And there are some other facts, but if we think in the direction that that is one picture, and it can be taken from another direction, because sometimes even the teacher don't know how to cope with this situation, but the role model is a bit different. So I wonder about what the role model in the book and in the movie. That is another fact. There is one session, and I wonder why the Turkish football team was taken like Fenerbahce or that. So I wonder why, what kind of solidarity with all those students have. Even they take the same, they support the same football team. That is another fact. And also, while there was another session, they were marching, and while marching 19 Mayıs marşı, and then they were going for to meet with Uganda president or something like this. So they make exaggeration so that we to make people smile, and so it's like that. I take the issue like this. Another issue is commercialization of the education system, because then also at the end of the first scene, and once the Damat Ferit Tarık Akan comes with the baby in the school, and they were caught, and Mahmut Hoca confessed that he knows the situation to the head of the school, and he was pressed, and he said, "We are not merchants, we are teacher," or something like this. So that was a very prominent message, there, very vital message in the movies and the series also. And another fact is the solidarity. So 688.75 liras were gathered by the students, and so to protect and to let their friends Boncuk to continue his education. That was another fact. And another thing is like there might be some, if today it would be adapted today, some of the wordings would change, especially the about the sexy words maybe changed, or the slangs may change or be adapted in somehow. And well, and I wonder about the figures adaptation and how they create and shift the characters, like Ferit and the Boncuk and the Inek Şaban, and so there is a mix between, but the Sidikli Şaban, the one with the urine, and they have the same kind of joke in the first movie series, and the friends, the students make him to pee actually, and they cheat on it, of course, again. And there is another fact about the how maybe a kind of a criticization, and the way the students in class never meet with their hands. Actually, they don't shake hands, but in the school, while they meet with the Semra Hoja, they shake hands, and so it was a different thing. And also I wonder about the love letters and the way they write the love letters, but the mercy and affection and the love, and so it was very warm in this regard, because whatever you watch, and you feel an serenity in somehow, and they don't you don't get disturbed. You feel relaxed, you sometimes smile, and then you think what's going on. And because there are many issues to be considered, and also the way people, it was like they were not 100% sarcastic. Actually, that was one issue. They were making fun, and they were cheating, but they had a respect also. They were carrying their respect and affection, so there was some hidden balance in those between. That was an interesting character of the movie. So I will, there are some other facts also, but I also wonder about the story created first, and how Rafat Ilgaz was start to write with his nickname Stepne, or like, and how the project directed to Ertem Eğilmez, and how the project was readapted to cinema, and blah blah blah. So these are the general topics we are going to discuss today at 9:30, and see you there. It's going to be Turkish, so there might be some points, and when you write down in English, then I can ask the question, and it can be replied conformably. Okay, that's all for the now being. Bye bye.